All right, guys, Fishhound Elite Series field test. We're in Northeast Maryland at the Chesapeake Bay, and these are the three you gave me. We've got a break blade jackal chatterbait, we've got a Ward Eagle spinnerbait, and we've got a Zoom trick worm. All right, used all three of them this week. Pretty successfully. I mean, we made the top 50 cut. It was actually a pretty good tournament. Let's break them down one at a time. All right, guys, let's talk about the jackal break blade chatterbait. Really a unique design. I'd never thrown one before until you guys gave them to me this week. One of the things I really liked about it is we've got a little bit of a weed guard. It's actually got two little fine wire weed guards. It was absolutely critical this week and helped me catch some fish because I was able to clear the grass off of it a lot easier than you can with a traditional chatterbait that doesn't have a weed guard. So great design. I caught fish on it all week. I weighed in, I think, 2 fish on it. Bites were tough to come by out here, but I did catch a couple on it and performed excellent. So not the star of the show, but a great bait, and I will keep it in the box. The War Eagle spinnerbait, guys, it is an absolute awesome design. I love it. One of the great things about a War Eagle spinnerbait is you don't need a trailer. They actually leave their tails a little bit longer than other spinnerbaits on part of their skirt, so you don't need to have a trailer with it. Great spinnerbait. It performed perfect all week. The problem was we were at the Chesapeake and we had a flood tide for 2 days. So what happened with the flood tide is we had a lot of grass get tore up, so we had a lot of surface grass we had to fight with, especially out on the flat, which is where I was fishing. So surface grass, spinnerbait, it's hard to clear a spinnerbait when you get grass on it. So it wasn't a player for me this week, but it's excellent design, an excellent spinnerbait, and I will be using it in the future. All right, guys, the star of the week, the Zoom trick worm. Thank you so much for putting it in my bag this week. I love them. I've used them for years. Counted for 7 fish the first 2 days. I weighed in, let's see, I weighed in 5 and 3. I only weighed in 8. So caught 3 off of a dock on it the first morning. I caught 4 off that same dock the second morning. So absolutely unbelievable bait. I went with black this week. I don't know why, but black in tidal water seems to really work well. Zoom trick worm, thanks for putting it in the box. It accounted for a bunch of my fish to make the top 50 cut. All right, guys, we've got the shaky head Zoom trick worm, and what we're looking for here is, you know, we're in a canal, and so what we've got is we've got little dock poles, and so what I'm doing is I'm skipping it up in the shade, and I'm trying to get it as close as I can to those dock poles. Those fish are holding tight. Bites were hard to come by this week, but you had to definitely get it close to cover in order to get a bite. So being able to be accurate with your casting was key today. My 13 fishing rod and reel setup this week was for the shaky head. It was a 6-7 medium action rod. The reason I went with a medium instead of a medium light this week is I was fishing around docks, and I was around dock poles that had a few barnacles on it, but I was also around some concrete. And so I wanted that 6-7 medium so I could kind of manhandle those fish when I got a bite and get them away from those poles and away from that concrete so I could go ahead and get them in the boat. And it performed absolutely excellent. It was a 6-7 medium Envy black rod with a Shimano Stella reel, and the setup worked perfect. All right, that's it for this week's Elite Series field test. Check out those 3 baits. We'll see you at the next one.